I'm Sandra and I'm an addict. Whew. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Wilmington area of Narcotics Anonymous. I'm a crybaby. And I'm not ashamed of it. Whew. I just need to settle down just a little bit. I was doing pretty good. I thought I was doing real good. And all of a sudden, yesterday, I started feeling like I was tightening up, like petrified. And I tried to call my big brother. But he ain't answer, so I called his daddy in sponsorship. And because I had been talking to my sponsor, and I was telling her, letting her know where I was. And, and she talked to me, and I always want to remember that it's not about me. And Dale said the simplest thing to me is that it's just an NA meeting, one big NA meeting. And that it helped me. I just needed to hear somebody's voice. And so I'm glad y'all are here. My name is Sandra, and I'm an addict. And I've been asked to come and talk to you about how it was and what it was like and what it's like today and share my experience, strength, and hope in this process of recovery. All right, I kind of talk fast, so, I'm going to be mindful, because I can just see this interpreter doing all kinds of, because I can, because I've had all this nervous energy all day long. I didn't know if I wanted to sit down. I didn't know if I wanted to stand up. I didn't know if I wanted to eat. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just know I needed to do something. And so then somebody said I just needed to be still, and so then I did that. I'm real glad to be here. I was here last year. This is my first time being in Wilmington. And it was real nice and peaceful. It was very intimate. It's a very intimate convention. And I put my name on the list for workshop, and I got chosen and sent my CD, and I'm here today. And I used drugs, and that's why y'all gave me a special seat. I want to, Tony, Tony is so special to my recovery. I always say this because this was very big for me early in recovery, but he bought me my first meal out in the community. And the only requirement was that I do it for somebody else. See, I was so used to the law of reciprocity where that I had to perform some type of task in order for me to get the simplest thing, the smallest thing a whole lot of times. And y'all come on with me now, y'all know. But that was a part of the unconditional love that I was shown in the rooms. And to be able to just give it back to somebody else. A lot of times we say we can only keep what we have by giving it away. And we think it's all about the chip. But it's more than about giving away key tags. It's about embracing that addict that come through the door that don't know whether or not they want to be here because they scared half to death like I was. I was scared because I knew what it was like out there, but I didn't know what this was going to be like. And when I started using, I didn't know what that was going to be like. I didn't know that I was going to find myself on a Friday night up in a room. I love y'all all, man. I don't mean no harm. But I did not think that I would be sitting up in rooms day after day after day because I took that first one and saying my name is Sandra and I'm an addict. But now that I'm here, what am I going to do while I'm here? See, I got here because y'all know I use drugs. I had this thing going on, because I have a disease to call addiction, right? And so I had this thing going on. First, foremost, got to be all flat out. I want to be cute. I want to be this. I want to be that. And then God was like, it's not even about you. I didn't want to take nothing away from what God is trying to do in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. That if I don't want you to focus on me. I want you to focus on the God that's within me. Because that's why I'm standing here. Before I got here, I was angry with God. I grew up in a home where my daddy was not there. And I say, Daddy, he was my father, he was all that, but he wasn't there. He wasn't there because, see, he had what I didn't know that he had, but he had the disease of addiction. I don't think they documented before you left here, but nonetheless. And I grew up in a home which was supposed to start out as a two-parent family, and then it ended up being single-parent family, and it took me getting here to realize that I suffered from abandonment issues, that I don't even believe that he knew that he abandoned me. You know, I found out coming since I've been here that I got so many things going on that I don't even know which one to tackle first. So I started with the simplest one: don't use no matter what. If I don't pick up, then I won't get high. Now, I can come in here tonight and I can tell you I don't know the expectation. All I know is that I have a message of hope and the promise of freedom that an addict, any addict, can stop using and lose the desire to use, right? And learn a new way to live, right? So I don't know, and I guess I needed to do that for me because, see, a lot of times, you know, this image thing come up, ego want to come up, but I need to let her go because I need to allow God to do what he does. And so when I got in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, y'all know the whole gamut of things that we did. If you don't know, I can let you know that I lied, I cheated, I stole, I hurt the ones that I love, and I did all kind of things with police parts and all that. You know, but if you really need to know how the disease drugged me, then get with me after the meeting and I'll let you know some of those things that I did. I told somebody I can't go back out because I got so many not yets that I'm scared. I'm literally scared. I listen to Tony's story and I be like, hell no. But I use drugs. I use a lot of drugs. I use them, I started using at the age of 12. And then, let me back it up. Because see, I grew up in a home where they made plum brandy and all that kind of stuff, right? And peaches and all that stuff. They did stuff with fruit that I don't do today. And so it was okay in my home. Wait, let me hold up. First, I need to go back. I need to thank Agusta for coming and supporting me in my sharing tonight. I think that was very overwhelming for me, too. Because some days I still believe that I'm by myself. And then when I told Tony, he was like, I'm with you, San. I'm with you. I was like, okay. T was like, yeah, San, I'm with you, girl. I was like, yeah. But I do have a support system. And Narcotics Anonymous has given me so much support that I don't want to take anything away from the people who love me so much that they took time out to say, I'm going to ride with you. So I want to thank y'all. And thank y'all too, but Agusta in the house. Amen. Oh, there you go. All right, okay. So nonetheless, I think I was talking about using, right? And it was okay in my family to sit around on a Saturday or whatever grandmama did it, and she pulled them peaches through that pillowcase looking thing, whatever she did with it, and she would give us just a little taste as she would see how things were going with it, right? And so what I did was that I was talking about this investigative reporting thing, but I was an investigator because I watched her as she did that, and I saw where she put it. And it wasn't just sitting up on the shelf somewhere, that it was tied up in another bag, and it was put up under the cabinet so it couldn't get no light. And I guess that's the fermenting process. And so when she gave me one, she did not know that I would be still searching for one more. She didn't know that I was going to go back and I was going to get that bag and I was going to open it up and I was going to drink some more and then I was going to tie it up put a little more water in it just so she wouldn't know, right? And I was going to put it back up under the cabinet, and that started the process. And then on a Saturday night when they used to have club meet, she used to give us a little sip of beer with Coca-Cola or whatever, just something, And so she didn't know I had a disease. She did not know. And I can't blame her. But what I do know is that when I saw that it was causing me some problems at the age of 14, looked like I probably should have stopped. But I couldn't because I wanted to be accepted. People didn't like me. Tony said I was young when I came around with 36. And he said I got old. I'm young. But I am, because I believe that I'm only as young as I feel. And some days I feel better than others. Today I feel real young, right? So anyway, I didn't know why people didn't like me, or either I perceived that they didn't like me because they didn't do what I wanted them to do when I believed that they should have been doing it, right? Sometimes, I was reading a day in the literature where it talks about where sometimes we just want to hold on to our friends, and they be trying to find new friends, and we don't want them to have nobody but us, right? And I didn't understand growing up that it was okay for my friend to have more than just one friend, that I wasn't the center of her world, that, that she could have somebody else, but I saw that as rejection, that she didn't like me. And then, I didn't have this, straight hair and all this stuff, and I thought that was an issue. I didn't like who I was. I didn't like my hair. I didn't like the color of my skin. I didn't like anything about me. Nothing. My eyes were slanted. My sister told me I was adopted. She told me my mama got me for some Chinese people. And it kind of went together, right? Because my eyes were just a little bit slimmer than everybody else's in the family. So I believed that lie, that I was Chinese. But what happened to the hair? What happened to the hair part, right? I missed that one. But I was not okay with Sandra. I was hurt. My daddy was in prison. My mom was trying to take care of 4 kids. My life started to change. This was before the dope. And then when I started using it was like I put it in. Y'all know. I put it in. I began to transform. Confidence out the yin yang. Like, yeah. So what, you don't like me? Hanging with the rough kids. Being, I wanted to be where people would just accept me. That everybody know my name thing. I wanted to be where they just accepted me no matter what I came with. I just wanted to be loved and accepted. And I didn't know that it was going to require me to be sitting in cars on parking lots, doing all this stuff, that I didn't know that it was going to require that I never get to enjoy. That's why I don't like football, because every time I went to a football game, I always was so freaked up out of my mind that I never saw the freaking game, that I always would be plastered before the game. I never saw the game. That's why I don't know where they be tight ends and tackling and all that. I don't know, because association for me was school football game. It's time to be like, Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on. Let's do the thing. And I always was so messed up that my friends had to take me home because I was ragging. I was puking my guts out. I couldn't even stay. And so I used. And then I didn't know, operating out of abandonment issues, that I was going to accept the first thing that told me that they liked me, and that was going to become my man. That was going to be my mate. That was going to be who loved me. Why? Because you accepted me no matter what. But what I had to go through just to get your love and to hold on to it cost me way more than just being by myself. We was in the room and we were talking. It was talking about how we become, and I love the theme, freedom by the sea. I called Tony. I was like, so freedom by the sea, is there like something underlined? Because, I say, well, sometimes, like it got one up here, it says message of hope. He said, no, just freedom by the sea. So I said, okay, God, that's what you're working with, freedom by the sea. And so, but we were in the room and I had been talking and, we was talking about being enslaved to the disease of addiction and how it talks about in Who's an Addict that we were enslaved to this disease, how the disease caused us to do those things that we truly said we weren't going to do. And, when you said you weren't going to act this way, when you said you weren't going to spend your money, when you said you was going to pay the light bill, when you said you was going to pay for your children's toys, all this stuff, when the disease said you ain't finna do none of that, that means that I became in bondage to the disease, that I was no longer Sandra taking control of my life, that the disease had taken full control of my life, and I did it just like a robot, Yes, Will Roger kind of thing, y'all from the old school, you know, the road, danger, danger, danger. That kind of road by that. I did what the disease say do. If the disease say step 3 times, I did it. Turn around, I did it. If it say suck this, put this in your mouth, put this in your hand, shake on this, I did everything the disease told me to do. That I had become enslaved to the disease of addiction, that I was no longer operating on any kind of will that my God had for me. Because, see, I know about God. I knew about God. But I didn't know about the will of God. I just knew of God. You know, I think everybody know of God. But I didn't know about his true will for my life. So anyway, we were talking about being enslaved, and I was showing how sometimes, I'm going to touch you, ma'am, right? And so how sometimes we be wanting to hold on to stuff, and we be trying to let go at the same time, and we know it ain't no good for us, but I want to hold on, but I don't want to let you go. I don't want to let you go, because if I let you go, because if I let it go, no matter what it is, no matter if it's a human being, no matter if it's cigarettes, no matter if it's sex, no matter if it's shopping, no matter if it's Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works, Gucci, Coach, it don't even matter. If I'm holding on to it, I can't let it go. I'm enslaved just to the idea of having things, something to make me feel whole. I'm still talking about the thing, freedom by the sea. And then I say, when I was sitting in the room and I was looking. Oh, Tony said I was going to preach. I remember you saying that. Why? See, I had these little spurts because, you know, they were driving kind of fast. When I was in control, I was thinking I wasn't driving fast. But then when I wasn't in the lead, then they said I was driving slow. And he told me something, quit all that talking. You're going to preach to them when you get up there tonight. But see, I just believe that the God of my understanding, I'm going to get back to where I was with Freedom by the Sea. Well, I believe the God of my understanding, since he is such a good, you know, an awesome God, that the program that he instilled, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding according to the literature and to our predecessors to be able to write the literature, that the same God, you know what I do over here, that he did that too. So he is not going to violate his own principles and his own traditions because he wrote them. So I'm going to be governed by the Spirit and allow God to do what it is that he's going to do. So if it comes out and sound like it's preaching in the word for you, but if it's the literature that you want to hear, then you're going to hear that. But if you want to hear God, then just listen for the message of recovery. Okay, so now, right? So check it out. Check it out. Wait. Whoa. So I'm looking at the beach. I'm sitting in the room by myself. I don't know, everybody just disappeared. Because I was so nervous, Tony. I think I made them so nervous. I was sitting down, I get up, I try to eat something, I move over here, and all of them start just moving. Just going out. It's like, maybe she needs some time by herself or something. So I didn't know what I needed, right? But anyway, it gave me an opportunity to sit there, and I'm looking at the ocean. And I'm looking at, I can't see where the ocean ends. And I'm looking at the fact that when I'm there, that all I see is God. And I'm looking at how far does it go. And I'm thinking about Narcotics Anonymous, because we were talking about being enslaved to addiction, right? And I'm looking, y'all said freedom by the sea. And see, I know that I can be free, because if I do what y'all say that I need to do, then I can experience freedom. So then I began to look in my book. Yeah, I bought them. So I look, right? So I bought these books, and then I said, okay. I didn't say it. I was sitting there, and Spirit was like, well, check your book out, right? So I went to my book, and I went to the back of the book. And it's not like it's going to read a whole bunch of stuff. I was just looking for freedom. You know, because, see, when I got here, that's what y'all told me that I could have. I could have freedom. That freedom from all that enslaved lifestyle that I had. So first it says, it talk about pages. I don't give you no pages, none of that. Freedom. Then it says, from active addiction, freedom to change, freedom of choice, freedom through crisis, freedom through faith, freedom of groups, freedom, happiness, joyous, and free. Freedom to have a God of one's own understanding. Remind me of that one. Freedom from having to be right. I don't have to be right all the time. But when I think that I'm right all the time, I'm usually wrong. I'm usually wrong. Freedom to have humility. Freedom within our symbol. Freedom from me. Freedom from me. from me. It says ourselves, but I'm talking about me, right? It said freedom, even if the possible after a relapse, I can regain freedom. That's not my story. Relapse is not a part of my story. Freedom of the promise of, but check it out. Finding freedom, there's the freedom. I just can go with what it says. Freedom is step 1, step 5, step 6, step 7, step 8, step 9, tradition 3, tradition 4, tradition 5, tradition 7, and all embedded within the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. So then when I say I want to be free, why is it that I'm still in bondage? If y'all done gave me, if y'all done gave me everything that I need to be free, why is it that I'm still in bondage? Why is it that I always want to go back to the familiar? Why is it that when you say no, I believe you saying yes? Why is it that I always equate relationships with a man? Why is it that I don't know what it is that I want, but you better be able to give it to me? So then I get in here, I come up in here, right? And y'all say y'all can teach me a new way to live. And in the beginning, I don't know, I was so pissed off because how dare you ask me, how dare you, and I know Tony now, but how dare you say, well, I guess you ain't gonna be, it was 2 of us. I don't know where she at, God bless her. I don't know where she at. But see, my story is my story. That my pain was my pain. And my pain had got so great that even in the midst of the resentment, I began to like what I was getting. I began to like the way that I felt when I woke up in the morning. I began to like the fact that I could remember where my children were. I liked the fact that I knew who I slept with if I didn't sleep with nobody. I began to like the fact that I knew how to just eat. Y'all know I know how to eat now, right? I try to hit you. I began to like the way I felt. I got hooked on the feeling in active addiction. So I got hooked on the feeling in Narcotics Anonymous. People started taking me places. Conventions. Right now, my first convention, my first sponsor, she got a picture of me. I had on this sundress. I had on the shoes I wouldn't have dared wore today. I got a blue floral pattern dress, and black sandals. That don't even coordinate for me today. But you know what? But I was so cute there. I was just so happy to be there. And by the time I got there, I think I had 9 months and stuff had been growing, right? So when I took the picture, I believe I was sucking in and pushing out. And she had the picture of a refrigerator. But they started showing me love that I never experienced before. See, when I come in the rooms, my whole family was using, except my one brother. And we used to get high together. And I was telling somebody, I said, my biggest fear was that I was not going to be able to be with my sister. I only had one sister. And y'all said I needed to change playmates, playgrounds, and playthings. And my family, we played together in active addiction. You know what I'm saying? We did it together. And then we started getting selfish, but we still did it together. Y'all know how that go. Come on. I was calling her and say, you know what, God, what's up? Let me come on. Yeah, then I stopped calling. Because I was so greedy by that time. I wanted it all for myself. But my biggest fear was that she was my only sister. And I thought I was going to have to lose her, because I was listening. But what happened was God had given me all these other sisters to put in the place of my sister until I became strong and solid in my foundation of recovery where I could go back around her feeling like I was okay in my own skin and not so afraid that I was going to use. Trust me, I never showed up without bump, knock, knock, what y'all got going on because I was guarding my recovery. But I was able to have a relationship with my sister outside of using. You know what I'm saying? Before she left here, we had a beautiful relationship. My sister never missed one of my anniversaries. She passed away in 2008. And my biggest want for her, my hope was that she would get clean, that she would grasp hold of this thing. But see, I thought that I could, you know what the meditation talked about. I didn't think we read it, but the meditation talk about the message of how we, you know, we want to pray over them. You know, we want to counsel them. We want to reason with them. And I wanted to drill it in them because I wanted them to get it. Just like I would share my dope, I wanted to share my life and my recovery. I wanted them to grab hold of this thing that I have that was so good to me that I really wanted to share it, because if we could sit down, we could, what our conversation was like early on, because I didn't want to talk to you about what you did last night, because I knew what you did. But if we could sit down and talk about the spiritual principles embedded within the literature, if we could sit down and talk about recovery and talk about how this new way of life has got us to go places and do things, because they start saying, Greg, that you always going, but y'all kept me on the road. They kept me on the road. They kept me doing stuff early in my recovery. Now, you know, we come in, we so prosperous, right? We come in, we so financially oriented, and that don't get me wrong, you got to have some money, right? We want you to get a job. We want you. But my focus was not on that. Hey, see, now, this is my other girlfriend, you know, she kind of drag up all this stuff. She started asking me all these questions about systematic mind, being enslaved to the system and the manipulation spirit, you know, so I ain't have to go to work. I was getting welfare, food stamp. So I ain't need a job in the beginning. So if y'all need jobs, y'all get them, but I'm telling you, talk to your sponsor. Don't be making no decisions on your own, you know, because see, we'll get it all twisted. See, I got a friend, she said, everything you ask her, what does love look like to you? What does this look like? What does that look like to you? So now, what does recovery look like? Because see, in the beginning, recovery looked like don't use no matter what. Then, you know, and then I would go to meetings on a regular basis. And my regular back then, I was hitting meetings like every day. I was always in a meeting. And Tony would say, I ain't going to even put in that park. I ain't hitting on no brakes. You better be peeping out the window. But he was coming from Agusta to pick me up, right? And I was so excited that he was coming to pick me up that I was like I was still out there. He already told me that he was not going to put the car in park. I wanted what y'all had to offer. What recovery looked like for me in the beginning, it don't look the same today. I've taken in the beginning what I have in the beginning, and I'm building on that. And I come in here, and I start looking at who I am. And I was, Tony, even though I was 36 years old, I was a little girl. I was a little girl that daddy had left when she was young. I was that little girl, just felt like she wasn't accepted by her friends, having low self-esteem, insecurity, and fear. Then y'all told me the disease was rooted in that. And then when you talk to some more profound members that's been here long enough, they said in that root of fear is been branches, more branches, and all that. And there ain't all that. I was like, good goobly goo. Always something. So to get back to the freedom, that when you experience the freedom, how free do I want to be? What does freedom look like to me? Do freedom look like I just don't use dope? Or do freedom look like I want to be free from me? I want to be free from that little girl who keep trying to control my life. We heard a little song come up here and talk about something. If I can get my mind to do what my spirit want to do, why I can't get them to come together? Well, a lot of times my mind be saying this, but if I go with the spirit, then I'm going to be able to do the right thing. But sometimes this right here be saying, let's go over here and do this. And then usually I follow, and then when I come back, I want to beat myself up, and I come on, self-esteem really low. I'm beating myself up. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But what does freedom look like to me? So then, first when I got to tapping, I was talking to some addicts in Augusta, and we come with all kind of messages and all kind of, like we've been to have sermons and, you know, and vignettes and all this analogies and wows and all that. But see, I ain't confused, right? Because as I began to grow in my recovery process and I began to tap into the greater one that lives within me, the God of my own understanding, because y'all said I have freedom to choose, right? And see, I struggle with that. I struggle with that because I came in here with that old-fashioned God that my grandmama and my mama and them had, and I already was supposed to have been gone based on everything I told my grown-ups to kiss my patootie and, and pray for your so-and-so self, and I truly try not to use profanity. No, Spirit don't allow me to use profanity, but sometimes when I can't explain what it is I'm trying to explain, one of them gonna come up because it ain't that. And I said it ain't. It is not that, but I don't have the vocabulary build up within me. I got a bank of information because since I've been here, y'all taught me how to read. I seen people coming in the rooms, couldn't say a couple of words, and now they read prolifically. They're just reading. You know what I'm saying? They want to read all the time. But freedom looked like to me is totally different from what it looked like 9/9/1996. See, all I wanted to do was I wanted to not sell my kids' toys, not sell the food stamps. I wanted to just to be able to have the lights on. I remember when my lights got turned off the first time since I've been clean. I mean, the first time I freaked out because it took me back to the time where the lights was off, and I ain't give it that the lights was off because I needed to get me another one. I pay with them. I get with them later. I'm only going to spend half the money, right? And then half turned into a whole, and then I couldn't even borrow the money. But anyway, in the beginning, it was just and I know that it was for it to be simple for me. I know that it was supposed to be that I just come in and I grasp hold of what y'all was offering me and get in what y'all say, we say, the back pocket of the people in the program and holding on come hell or high water. And one time when I couldn't get to meetings, it became, I was really, really afraid early in my recovery, but I would take my basic text at that time, and I would sit with my kids and some neighbors' kids, and I would read, and I would have me a little NA meeting. But I stayed clean that night. They ain't know what the devil I was talking about. But I would read the literature, and I would hold on to the literature. And there was times in my recovery when things started happening in my life, and when you change your mind about me, and one of those things I really thought that I was going to be gone. I thought I was going to be gone because you was the God that I supposed to. You was my boo. You was the one you was the catalyst to get me in here, right? And how dare you change your mind? And when you did that, I was devastated, And so my sponsor, I went home with her. I laid on her couch. I was hurting so bad. I think I wasn't scared I was going to use. I was hurting because he changed his mind. How dare you leave me? Oh, my God. Don't you know I'm clean today? Pimping the literature. Don't leave. 5 minutes before the miracle happens. Don't leave. We can work through it no matter what. Let's stick it out one day at a time. You know what I'm saying? I became addicted to the unconditional love because, see, I come from a family where hugging was that was foreign. And when y'all hugged me and told me you love me, when you told me it's going to be all right, when you told me I love you, I was able to rock it. I was in a fetal position. At first, I hear people saying, I was in a fetal position. And I would be like, what's a fetal position? And one day, I got my turn, right? And I was in a fetal position. But I didn't use. I had another day clean, and I started messing some clean time. And I was in service. I was a GSR. I didn't know what that even stood for, but I did it. And I was clean. And I opened the door. They gave me a key. I ain't had no car. They didn't care about all of that. Early in my recovery, it was about doing what y'all told me to do. And then all of a sudden, you know how we do. I got time. Service work started slacking up. Attendance. I'm doing things, because I started going to school 90 days into recovery. 90 days. Not because I wanted to go to school, They were going to cut off my welfare check. It was, hey, look, all I know is some politicians got together and they started talking about this new act, you know what I'm saying? I can't even remember the Welfare Act or whatever. And I came in 96, and Bill Clinton was like, "What you gonna do, boo?" I'm gonna go to school. So nowadays in my recovery, I was telling them coming up here, the first time I was introduced to Narcotics Anonymous, my then husband took me to my first meeting. And I went and I got my white chip. We call it a surrender chip, the white one, right? And I took it and I tried to surrender to the drug dealer. And I told him, "Look, well, I picked up a white chip tonight. Give me something. I'm trying to get clean." Right? So anyway, but then that didn't work. That didn't work out. And then I just, you know how it was one of those times when I really, I was down and I was tired. My kids had seen me smoking too many times. People was taking over our house because they throw some kibbles and bits around, some crumbs, and I would have all these people walking over my kids. That what was their room started to be the room. So many people was in the house that I don't even know who was in the house. That I just thank the God of my understanding that was watching over me and my daughter, that nobody touched her that I know of. Because if it had, she ain't told me about it. You understand what I'm saying? But it is not like I protected her in any kind of way, because it was all about me getting the next one. It was a party every night. It was so much traffic, you'd have thought it was a doggone airstrip. That it was cars was coming in and out, and it was booming, right? They was booming. I wasn't booming there. I was somewhere stuck like Chuck, couldn't move, paranoid, insecure, and afraid. But anyway, so I got tired of me, and I called social services, and I told them, I said, "Yes, my name is Sandra, M-Mays, you know," and I said, I have a problem with drugs, and I want to get some help. And she said, "You do?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, I got 2 kids, and, you know, and I really am tired. So she told me where to go, and I went, and I did an assessment, but then one of y'all came by. And so that was short-lived. That my willingness to stay clean just was no longer there. You know what I'm saying? Because all it took was for somebody to come by. It didn't even matter. It was just somebody come by. That I had good intentions, but if somebody came by, my intentions went straight out the window. And it was all about getting it on. You know what I'm saying? And then that, you know, 1 is too many. 1,000 is never enough. And so I found myself off to the races. But that heifer wouldn't stop calling me. Miss Mays, she said, "You called us several months ago." Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. You still interested in getting clean treatment? Not right now. Not right now. And every time she called, I said, "Not right now." And then there was an incident at the social services office. And when I called because I was tired, this was before he left, he was threatening to take my kids. And I called, and the incident was so bad that she wasn't there. And so I knew where to go because she had already sent me there. And so I went back. I wanted them to lock me down because I felt like if you lock me down in a residential type setting, then I wouldn't use. You know, I felt like if I was away from my surroundings that I was not going to use. I felt like if I could change, where I was and go somewhere else, that I was going to be okay. But to God of my understanding, he still got jokes. He had jokes then. He said, "You use right here, you're going to get clean right here." And I had to watch them same folk with that one limp and a hand cuffed up. And I had to watch them day after day after day after day after day. But I didn't go out the house until Tony came to pick me up. See, y'all told me, y'all gave a good analogy of this disease, this definition, how insidious it is, how this disease will wait patiently on you, how it don't even care about none of that stuff you thinking it caring about. All it wants, it reminds me of Little Shop of Horrors and Feed Me Seymour kind of thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because, see, when the disease was calling, the disease was calling. The disease didn't care. I got to drink some. The disease didn't care anything about the fact that I had kids. It didn't care nothing about none of that. And so the disease of addiction is so treacherous that I'll be setting me up and don't even realize that I'm setting me up. That I start doing things and start talking about y'all and how y'all the problem and never looking at myself and them so-and-so's over there and how they sharing all the time. And I done took the focus clean off of me. I done forgot about the fact that I don't know how to live. Y'all said through my inability to accept personal responsibility, I actually create my own problem. But here I am. I want to blame y'all for the condition of my life, because if you hadn't said this, if you hadn't did this, if why is she looking at me like that? Now I'm not focused on me. I'm focused on you. But I learned that I had to get with me. And how I get with me, I just don't just work a step, read a step, that I realized that there were some principles embedded within these steps that I needed to take and apply to my everyday life. Y'all say it's only through understanding and application that they work. Application means you got to apply it. You have to apply it. It's just like any ointment. If you don't put it on you, you ain't going to feel better. You got to apply it. You know, people always say, I worked the step with my sponsor. Well, you worked it. What you mean when you worked it? Because usually when we work something, that means we're trying to get something from it. If you're working it, then where's the willingness? Where's the surrender? Where's the acceptance? Where's the tolerance? Where's the patience, the understanding? I'm talking about me. Because, see, I'm talking about working steps, but then you get on my nerves, and I'm thinking you my problem, but I need to come back into the mirror and look at me to know that I'm my biggest problem. We talk about people. Now I say we love. I love to say principles before personality. Apply principles before personality. But see, then I learned that I need to begin to apply the principles before my own personality. That it was my personality that was tooting my nose up, thinking that I was all this in a bag of chips, and knowing that, you know. Yeah, whatever. I thought I was all that because I had some time and I was setting myself up. I was going to school. I was doing everything. I was living and enjoying life as other people do, and I was getting slack. I wasn't working no steps. I wasn't applying no principles in my life, just a few of them. And I but I still use other things to make me whole. That I still felt like I can be all right if you just love me right. If you do what I want you to do. I thought that if I could buy it, then it would make me better. You know, I went through my little, what I call that fashion show thing. What I'm going to take to the convention, what I'm going to wear, this. My mama, I live with my mother. She said, well, honey, how many days you going to be gone? I said, hey, we leaving Friday, coming back Sunday. I only had like a little compartment suitcase. We had already agreed what we was going to do, that we was going to have one bag. And here I come, I got a rolling bag, I got a travel bag, and a bag for my shoes, right? I only had like 3 pairs, and the ones I had on. But I had these boots because I wanted to wear these skinny jeans because I wanted to be cute because I had lost a couple of inches, right? And then the offer showed up. The niece said, we ain't going to wear no boots. I said, first, the author showed up. I said, he was like trying to hang on to my hip, right? And then he started moving right in the knee. And I said, golly, I can't wear my boots. But I'd rather be here I'd rather be here how I am so that I can allow God to do what he does. And so since I've been here, I learned that I have to change. I have to change. That I got to change not only, my attitudes and my behavior, but my perception had to change. My perception had to change. That as I begin to grow in this process of recovery, that as I look at the ocean and I see just how long it is, that there's a never ending, that I can't see the end. And I've sat on some of Carnival's, ships, and I still couldn't see the end, right? But what I know is that that's how big my God is. But if I only feel that I can only be free just a little bit, then I must not be, allowing my God to be as big as he want to be in me. And so when I look at it, I see God. Somebody said, what do you see when you hear freedom by the sea? Somebody said serenity, somebody said something else. And my thing was like, that's my God. That's how big my God is. That I can be free and it can be everlasting. That I can continuously have freedom. But I can't continuously have freedom if I don't do the work. That I think because I come in here and I done worked the step 1 or 2 times and 3 times that I can still act any kind of way, then I'm still in bondage. I'm still enslaved to the disease of addiction. The disease still got me spinning around like a spinning top. We used to have them little things, you pump it up, pump it up, pump it up. And then you let it go. Y'all know I'm old school, right? You let it go, and that thing just went all across the floor. That see, a lot of times when we pump you up, it pump you up, then we let you go. Your ass go all across the room. Go all over the place. You be everywhere. You be everywhere. You be everywhere. And so as I grow in my recovery, things start to change. I start to change. I began to get better. Then when I start saying things like, take my will in my life, guide me in my recovery, show me how to live. And I don't have control over that. You have to let me know by the time too, because And so when I say that, y'all know that's a prayer, right? Because we say that's third step prayer. And so when I'm asking the God of understanding to take my will in my life, I'm saying that I surrender. That I want to apply the principle of surrender to my life. And I want you to, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, right? And so as I begin to seek him, that he began to take me places and do things, and then I resist and want to buck. And then people be talking about, you're going to be preaching and you going, I love my brother. If I miss a meeting, where you were, Bible study. But anyway, what I love about it is that when I'm not in a meeting, that I'm missed. Not the fact, I got past Tony, that part of it, because I know that man loves me. Tony did something I never had any man to do. Not my brothers and not my father, not even my stepdaddy. He shared something with me because I had a fly-by-night, and they was on the flight when I picked it up, right? Yeah. And y'all, it went straight. But I had a fly-by-night, right? But Tony was checking things out because he already could see that I was probably somewhere on the other side of town. But my brother shared with me that I didn't have to move so fast. You need to watch and, take your time on this one now, saying. It's just some things, I don't know, but you need to be careful. Because if that joker do A, B, C, I'm going to be mad. And then he said this was like really profound. And don't be so quick to give up the panties. Oh, y'all like, we don't never want to give up the panties because we think y'all ain't never did that, right? That if I believe I take the panties off, then I can hold you because we always talk. You know how women do. It's a workshop topic, but you know how we think about comeback and all this old stuff, these lies we tell ourselves, and we feel that if we can bump and grind, then I can keep you on my mind and I can keep you all the time. But a lot of times it's just a feeling, and I get hooked on that feeling, and really and truly I find out that you are not who I'm supposed to be with, and then now you change your mind, and I'm glad you did because I couldn't tell you to leave. See, I don't like to feel like I'm by myself, but when you get with the sponsor, talk to her about it and talk about those times when you give of yourself and you really didn't want to give of yourself, and then you let it go, and then you believing that you're going to get something. I told a friend of mine, let me leave you alone, because I'm the kind of person that if it don't come the way I wanted it to come, things don't work out, I turn into the Tasmanian devil on your ass. But it's been a long time since I really acted out like that. I like to have a good time. I like to have fun and recovery. Y'all, I looked at that thing, right? This person on this graphic. This person is sitting out here looking at the ocean and the sun is shining. That is good time. Serene as all get up. He probably got a whole lot of stuff going on. But when we get to the point where we got some stuff going on, a lot of times we got to get to the place of serenity. That I don't always just wake up every day is serene. I got to go to God of my understanding, and I got to go to him in third step prayer. First, thank him, and then say, take my will in my life and guide me in my recovery. Show me how to live. What you want me to do today? And so then when I say that, then I see God going in a direction that pulls me where I don't know, I'm confused and I'm twisted, but I got an addict over here saying, Sandra, just go where God is taking you, but just remember the traditions. You understand what I'm saying? Be mindful. And I know spirit is mindful, but I have to allow God to do what he do with me, because in that I get freedom and I stay humble, because it's not about me. It's always about God. It's always about him. Coming in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, pissed off and angry at God. How dare you? How dare you take my daddy? How dare you do this to me? How dare you allow me to get in an abusive relationship? You see, I'm blaming God because I chose you to beat me up every day. So now I'm blaming God because I can't get away. You know what I'm saying? But anyway. And I come in here and I'm mad. I'm angry with God. But then found out that when I work the step, that I get to write down the characteristics of the God of understanding. And now it's told me just to ensure that he's loving and caring, right? And in doing that, I get to create characteristics, what I didn't realize that are characteristics that I see within myself, because now me and God, we together, right? And so if I see my God being loving, caring, kind, compassionate, considerate, empathetic, and, unconditional love and all of that, then I start becoming who he is, and now he and we hanging out together on a regular basis, and I'm talking to him like I talk to you, and sometimes I don't beg and plead with him. I just say what I got to say, and I say, you know what? Like I told him, I said, you know what, God? I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know. It don't even matter what I think. All I know is that if one addict, just any addict that's in the meeting, to hear something that they say, I'm going to hold on just another day, then I've done what you asked me to do. That I've came and I shared and I experienced strength and hope. And I let them know that you the God of their understanding. You the same God. The program it works. That Narcotics Anonymous is a program of freedom. Narcotics Anonymous is a program that offers me hope. Narcotics Anonymous showed me how to hug my family. I told you they didn't hug. We didn't hug. Nobody hugged. Nobody hugged. And it was Narcotics Anonymous that taught me how to hug my family so my family could hug me. And so as I continuously to come to meetings, I don't want to stop coming to meetings. I don't want to get so educated that I be evacuating from the rooms. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get so high and mighty that I forget about Narcotics Anonymous and forget when I, had my last one. Because y'all told me that if I forget my last high, that I might go back and try to relive it. You understand? I need to remember from whence I came. That I remember booking up on the side of dirt roads there. I remember how, them dirty, nasty folk, look like scabies and all that. And I remember just diving in no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Because you had what I wanted. And I can brush my teeth eventually. You know what I'm saying? freedom that I experienced in Narcotics Anonymous y'all have shaped me, right? That y'all have showed me how. Tony called me, what's he call me, a lady? He called me a woman. Something he said it was nice. I know it was. It'll come back to me. But he shared some stuff with me that let me know that he loved me all more. Then we hung out in Charleston one weekend. And he got to see a side of me. I'm really cool peeps, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people want to believe I'm floating out here somewhere. I don't know what they believe. It don't even matter. But nonetheless, but then Tony said, I didn't know you were so silly. You silly as hell. It's like, but I enjoy life, and I can only laugh because y'all have told me that it's okay for me to enjoy this process. That why would I come into a program where y'all say I can be free, and I'm so bound up that I'm in prison in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, that I want to live and enjoy life, that I want to be able to share with my family. I don't have to beat them up. All I need to do is walk this walk. I need to live this program and allow them to see. That's what the meditation talked about, that I need to live accordingly, that if I'm working a program, people need to be able to see that. Because, see, somebody told me in here that sometimes we're the only God that somebody will see. That in Narcotics Anonymous, somebody needs to know that if she can come from here, then I can do it too. That I think I can. And before you know it, you believe you can, then you're going to be doing the thing. But then the thing about it is, you ain't got to do it by yourself. You don't have to do it by yourself. Nothing have I had to experience in Narcotics Anonymous since I've been here by myself. And even when I thought I was by myself, when my sister passed away, I really wasn't. It was because I thought this particular person was supposed to be there for me. How dare she not be there for me? How dare you call me and my sister is on breathing machine and all you want to talk about is you? But I thought you were supposed to be there. But God was there, and everybody else that needed to be there was there. But I get so fixated on one person that I can't see God when He's doing what He's doing. A lot of people don't even know I have a son. And I have a son. And I love him. But I tried to save him. I put on my superwoman, supermom suit. I tried to save him. He was in and out. He was prison, and he was doing everything he knew to do. I was selling raffle tickets, y'all. I was trying to get born in mind. I was trying to be God. Not mine. I just couldn't allow this to happen. And then riddled with guilt and all this stuff because I played a part in who you became, but ultimately the decision and the choice was yours to do some of the things that you've done. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about being in bondage to the guilt and the shame. Being in bondage because I felt like it was my responsibility. And I was holding on to somebody that I should have let go of, that I should have turned him over to the God of my understanding, because if he didn't understand God and I said I understood God, then I should have relinquished the control over to God. That I'm holding on to family members and loved ones because of the fact that they're my children. But I did that. I said, God, he's a gift. I give him back to you. Let you do it. And then I can work on me. And I got to look at why is it. It's not because, I told somebody one time, it's not even because of the fact that he's my son. That the more work I do, it's the fact that he is a man. He's a man, and I always had this, don't leave me. Hold on, don't go. Don't go. Don't leave me. I told you my daddy left me. He didn't leave because he wanted to leave. He left because the handcuffers got him, but he left. Nonetheless, he was gone, and I always felt that I didn't want to be abandoned by a man. Don't leave me, please. But now you can keep it moving. You can really keep it moving. You can keep it moving because, see, I'm no longer making you my God. I'm no longer putting my trust in you. I'm no longer putting my faith in you, that I trust in the God of my understanding to hold on to me in those times when I can't get a hold of y'all. But I tried to call Tony. I told y'all I couldn't get him because I wasn't supposed to get him. It's some things I'm supposed to just walk through, trusting the God of my understanding that it's going to be all right. How can I say I trust God and always got to have somebody in my life to hold on to? How I'm trusting God when I'm so fearful that I ain't going to make enough money to meet my bills. Why? How can I say I trust God if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Then if I truly trust him, then I need to allow him. Y'all said, I keep saying it, take my will in my life, guide me in my recovery. My recovery is everything that I am. From the front door to the back door, straight to the grave when God says so. That's my recovery. And so if I'm going to trust him, I can't just trust him on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I got to trust him on Sunday straight through Saturday to know that it's going to be all right. It is going to be all right. And I know this. I know this. That's all I got to give. And that's what people come and they ask me. They call me Miss, my last name. And people coming to me and asking me all these questions. And then I'll be like, well, God, what's going on? And then he always take me back to that third step prayer, what I done asked him, right? And then my daughter called me during one of these times, right? And I knew, in my spirit, I knew what was going on with her. But I had called her a couple of days before. And I just wanted to let her know. Well, we'll back up. In December, one of my girlfriends lost her daughter, 26 years old, something like that. She just left us. She just left. And we just got toxicology back, and she just left. And she has a 5-month-old baby, and she asked me to come and share some words with her and her family during this hour, right? And I said, well, God, what am I supposed to say? Because that was new for me. That was new for me. And he said, it was like, what would you want to hear if that was your child laying in front of a body of people? What would I want to hear? And then I started saying, I just would like to hear love. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that I let my child know that I love her. How that, that nothing that you can do, we ain't going to agree all the time. So the first thing I could do was I called my daughter and I said, I love you. I just want to let you know I love you so much. So I ain't get a whole lot of I love yous when I was growing up. And I told her, I said, I know we don't agree on all things. And I know sometimes we disagree, we fight, however, but I love you so much, right? And then I called her a couple of days, about a week and a half ago, and I was just telling her, because I had told somebody, I said, I'm so proud of my daughter, she's doing so good. She's doing very well. I think, the independence. I like that she's becoming independent, because the more independent she get, right, the less dependent she get, and and the better off I am, right, financially. So I wanted to let her know that. And so then she was going through this thing, and she didn't let me know. But, I don't know, in the 11th step when it said we sought through prayer and meditation, that when I began to seek through prayer and meditation and talking to God and my understanding, then God begins to give me knowledge. That's what we say, right? And I just wanted, the power to carry it out. You know what I'm saying? And so then when he shared with me and I asked her this question, and she really was like, oh, how you know? Who told you that? What did I? Nobody didn't have to tell me how's things going. And then I find out that things didn't go the way that they're supposed to go. And my baby was almost at a point where she needed to some outside help, because she felt like she needed to go through this by herself. She felt like because I had told her that I was so proud of her because she was doing what she needed to do to take care of my grandchildren. I got 2. That she was working, paying her bills, and she was doing the thing, that she didn't want to let me down by telling me what was going on with her. But I said, I had just told my office mate, who I disclosed who I am, I had just told her that in the midst of my worst hour, when they would see me with the stem to my mouth, and I would deny it was that. Soda cans, whatever cans, I'm drinking them, and they puff and smoke. Y'all know, I ain't got to get too graphics. But no matter what, they love me unconditionally. Unconditionally. In the midst of my mess, that I brought them in, that they loved me unconditionally, that they was willing to fight neighborhood kids when they called me the ultimate crackhead. You know what I'm saying? That they was going to fight, because how dare you call my mama a crackhead, and me, I'm saying, well, I'm smoking with their mama. But but nonetheless, they loved me no matter what. And I told her, I said, there's nothing Nothing can stop me from loving you. And I don't ever want you to be at risk thinking that I'm going to condemn you. Because who am I to condemn you for anything? And I know what my track record looked like. Y'all didn't even get, y'all just got a little taste of it. Because I did some stuff. I ain't do everything Tony did. I keep talking. And some of the rest. But I did what I did, that it was devastating to me. That my bottom was my bottom because my bottom like to took me out. And I told her, never allow yourself to be in a place where your life is at stake and that you're on the brink of committing suicide and you don't let me know. I ain't going to always diagnose you because, Tony, I'm learning I don't have to work all the time. I don't have to work all the time. That I can just be a listening ear. That I can just be somebody to comfort you in the time when you're going through. But don't allow yourself to believe that I'm holding myself up way higher than anybody else. Because I believe that if I don't stay humble, that I'm going to fall off any pedestal that anybody try to put me on. Even me. And so I was able to talk to her and pray with her and just I call her every day and see how her process is going. And my baby is hurting. My baby is hurting. Because you know how we say things out of our mouths and then the disease tell us that because I said A, B, and C, then that's why D, E, and F took place. And she began to blame herself and beat up on herself. And remember how that mallet got so heavy, how we would beat ourselves with that bat. Then she started doing that. But then I started hearing change because I said, I accept you no matter what. Then she was able to come through and talk to me. You know, that's because I got a listening ear. That's because I'm clean. That's because that she have her friends calling me. Call my mama. Call my mama. And so that makes me feel good, you know, because I remember when I ain't want a friend nowhere around me, all of them were trying to mess up my high. You know what I'm saying? But it's changed. And then when I let go, I don't do a whole lot of, you know, sharing about my son. He made decisions. My son is incarcerated. And whatever they say, I ain't going with that because I'm going with something else over here because this is what I'm believing in. And so nonetheless, I love him unconditionally, that he is my child. He is my son, but he's a gift that I received from God. And I have to allow him. I said, see, and I prayed the prayer. That God, you put him somewhere that you can do a work, right? I just didn't know it was going to be in the penal system, right? But nonetheless, it's okay. And then, you know, I'm looking at how my mom live with my mother and how she really like she need me some days and some days she don't, and that's okay. But we have a relationship. We talk every day. And I'm having to watch my mother go through this 3 minutes. I'm having to watch her go through this process of memory loss. But she's so headstrong, I can't make her go to the doctor. I ain't taking no more pills. And I have to repeat myself over and over. And I have to make it comical. I have to make it comical because I've worked in environments where people just get angry and hostile, you know, and I love my mother, and I'm going to do what she say do, because she's still my mama. I'm 51, and I be like, why you always want to chastise me? You don't chastise nobody else. But she my mom. You know what I'm saying? And I do what she say. I do what she say, because I still believe she'll knock me over. So I keep living, and I keep doing what I'm doing in this process, and to know that if I continuously to apply the spiritual principles in my life, that the freedom that I receive in Narcotics Anonymous is endless. It's endless. Only I can stop my process. And I stop my process, I don't always have to use no dope. I can pick you up, it up, that up, anger, hostility, resentments, all of that. And I can still be the sick and suffering addict. That's why people be like, still sick and suffering. We be still sick and suffering up here in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. And we got the keys to allow us the freedom that we say that we want. And why we say we want to be free, let's be free. Free, happy, joyous, and free. Thanks for letting me share. I'm Sandra and I'm an addict. Whew. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Wilmington area of Narcotics Anonymous. I'm a crybaby. And I'm not ashamed of it. I just need to settle down just a little bit. I was doing pretty good. I thought I was doing real good. And all of a sudden, yesterday, I started feeling like I was tightening up, like petrified. And I tried to call my big brother. But he ain't answer, so I called his daddy in sponsorship. And because I had been talking to my sponsor, and I was telling her, letting her know where I was. And, and she talked to me, and I always want to remember that it's not about me. And Dale said the simplest thing to me is that it's just an NA meeting, one big NA meeting. And that it helped me. I just needed to hear somebody's voice. And so I'm glad y'all are here. My name is Sandra, and I'm an addict. And I've been asked to come and talk to you about how it was and what it was like and what it's like today and share my experience, strength, and hope in this process of recovery. All right, I kind of talk fast, so, I'm going to be mindful, because I can just see this interpreter doing all kinds of, because I can, because I've had all this nervous energy all day long. I didn't know if I wanted to sit down. I didn't know if I wanted to stand up. I didn't know if I wanted to eat. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just know I needed to do something. And so then somebody said I just needed to be still, and so then I did that. I'm real glad to be here. I was here last year. This is my first time being in Wilmington, and it was real nice and peaceful. It was very intimate. It's a very intimate convention, and I put my name on the list for workshop, and I got chosen and sent my CD, and I'm here today. And I used drugs, and that's why y'all gave me a special seat. I want to, Tony, Tony is so special to my recovery. I always say this because this was very big for me early in recovery, but he bought me my first meal out in the community. And the only requirement was that I do it for somebody else.